Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome on in.
Hello.
Hello. We will give it a few more minutes. We'll let people come in the room and then we will begin shortly here. Today's Tuesday, March 26th. We are at the end of the month already. I can't believe how fast this year has gone by.
End of the first quarter.
Already done. Boom.
And so many things to do. It's a busy period.
It is a very busy period, but I'm very excited that, summer is on its way. I shouldn't say I'm excited for summer, but I'm ready for the sun to be out all the time now. Welcome on in, folks.
I think we'll have a very sunny week here in Greece. They talked about 24 to 26 degrees of Celsius, and it's March.
It's kind of crazy how it's. Oh, okay. That's like a kind of about where we are right now in California. It's been like pretty warm, getting a little bit warmer. But it's crazy, like the East Coast was like snowing last week, and I'm just like. Right. Welcome on in, everybody.
Welcome.
Happy Tuesday. We'll give it one more minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. Where's everybody joining us from? Say hello and drop in the chat. Liverpool. Oh my gosh, how fun. SF, nice. Berlin. Nice. Awesome. Well, we've got people from all over the globe, so we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's wonderful, as always, to be here and to see all of you from across the world. Like I said earlier, today is Tuesday, March 26th, and we are here for our masterclass session. So I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to join our last masterclass session in a 5-part series that we put on. Welcome back to those of you who have been here with us the whole way, and welcome to any newcomers. Glad to have you here. My name is Veronica, and I'm the Customer Success Team Lead here at Transifex. I'm happy to be the host of our masterclass sessions here. For our final series, we thought we would do something special and go through progress tracking, repetition efficiency, and translation memory for optimal localization. Today's speaker, some of you probably already know him, will be one of our customer success managers, Jacob. So he's joined with me on the stage here. And then just a reminder, at Transifex, our mission is to lift that language barrier and empower you to engage the world. So we hope that these sessions help contribute to that, in contributing to your journey and feeling the growth of your mission and your businesses here. So before Jacob takes the floor, as you guys know, we have our chat here and we have the questions area. So please feel free to share any tips or tricks in the chat. If you guys have any questions, please try to utilize that question tab so we can just easily see what kind of questions are coming in. And additionally, we encourage any type of interaction that you guys have. So if there's like an area where you're like, oh man, like I really love using this part of it, or like I found this super helpful, I think it's always great to share tricks with one another and just tips on how you guys use that. And lastly here, before I hand it over, we understand that your time is super valuable. So if you need to step away during the session or anything like that, no worries. There will be a recording sent to you directly after this session here. So with that, I will go ahead and hand you the floor, Jacob.
Thanks, Veronica, and thank you everyone for joining today's last masterclass session for this quarter. My name is Jacob. Today we're going to review the 4 different reports that can be downloaded from different places and be utilized either separately or combined to enhance your translation workflow and estimate costs and effort. So today it's going to be all about reporting. You will hear this word quite a lot. We'll discuss about progress reports, repetitions, translation activity reports, and team leverage reports. At the end of each section, I will always give you a few moments in case you want to ask questions. So we'll have at least 4 of these. And at the end, obviously, we'll do a short recap, just highlighting the value of each report and generally of reports. And we have a Q&A session. So with that, let's start with the progress reports, which is the first type of reports that we're going to discuss today. So progress reports are only available to project maintainers and admins, the 2 highest roles we support at Transifex, and they provide visibility to statistics before and during the translation process. So we'll see in a few moments some progress reports, and you will see they contain source strings, update date, only the resources report. We'll see a number of source strings and words. They also include number and percentage of translated, untranslated, reviewed, unreviewed, proofread and unproofread strings and words. Just from this sentence, you can understand in how many columns this transforms or translates into. We'll see it in a few moments. And yeah, regarding progress reports, access to these detailed statistics enables you to easily track translation progress, measure translation efficiency, optimize resource allocation, and make data-driven decisions. This is the value of the progress reports. So all reports can be exported and downloaded in a CSV format, and there are 3 types of progress reports, depending on the level you want to get the desired statistical information for. We have the resources and the languages progress reports, and then we have also the languages progress reports for all projects. And we'll see in a few moments from where you can download these and how they look like. So I already prepared a spreadsheet just for you to see how the information is exposed to the audience. There are several use cases on why to utilize, on where or when to utilize progress reports. One of it is simply if you want to have visibility on the project completion progress, so to know what is the pending work, what has already been delivered. Another use case might be, you might want to export the data and build custom reports according to your needs. So you might want to add additional information columns there and do some formulas or add this information in another file of yours. The most common use case is if you want to know the string status and have a cost estimation for the LSP before the translation process. You can download them and share it with your LSP. I would say let's go ahead and have a quick demo. So for the sake of today's session, let's work on the Transifex onboarding organization and account. So at first, we mentioned the resources progress reports, which can be downloaded if we go to a specific project, like the Getting Started here. We go to Resources, and on the right upper corner, we have the report. And as you can see, when you hover over, it says it would download a resource progress report in a zip file. Why? It will actually download a zip file with 2 reports, the resource progress reports that we are discussing right now, and also the repetition report we are going to see in a few moments. So obviously, I already prepared it just to show you how it looks like. So this is how the resources progress reports looks like. You see a column with the resources, you see the source updated date, which is only included in this report, and then the information that I already mentioned about source, word count, number of source strings, untranslated, unreviewed, the percentages, and so on and so forth. It goes the whole way over here. And so these are the resources progress reports. The second progress report type we discussed was the languages progress report. In order to download these, you simply go to languages, and you have the option to download the report from here. This time it's only one CSV file, and the way it looks like is that. So you see, instead of resource, you have basically all projects languages and the locales, and the same information that we saw before, plus some information about repeated strings and words that we'll see in a few moments. But the rest of the columns are the same, but this time they refer to the languages. The third progress report type was the language progress reports for all projects. So here we are in the getting started project. But if we go to the dashboard from the upper left corner, right now we're not inside a project. And there is the option to download a report here. So this is the report, the language progress reports for all projects. And obviously you can expect some more information in there. This is how it looks like. So we see on the left column the different projects, then the different languages, which obviously might be different per project, the locales, and the same information we saw before about the untranslated, translated, and percentages amount for depending on the string stats, let's say. All the string stats basically, and the relevant information we just saw. Going back to our presentation, the key takeaways for progress reports. We saw that there are 3 progress report types that provide visibility to detailed stats before and during the translation process. Obviously, progress reports help tracking project completion progress, optimizing resource allocation, making data-driven decisions, and ensuring a timely project delivery. And depending on the use case, they can be combined with, for example, repetitions and TM leverage report. Thinking of a pre-translation scenario, you might want to download these 3 different reports. 2 of them we are going to see in a few moments to get the desired information. I will give it a few seconds to see if there are any questions before we move on to repetitions. Right. So moving to repetitions and the relevant reports. When calculating your localization budget, the most significant factors you consider are the number of source words and the cost per word provided by the LSP of your choice. String and word repetitions need to be also considered, allowing vendors to better estimate cost and completion time more efficiently, thus providing a competitive quote at a lower price than the one they would quote if all strings were considered unique. And what we mean by repetitions, we mean the number of the same strings in a resource, considering one of them as the original string. We offer statistics for repetitions by generating detailed reports on a resource, language, and project level when this information is requested. And there are 2 repetition types we provide statistics for. We provide statistics for the untranslated repetitions, which refers to the number of untranslated repetitions in a specific target language, and repetitions in the source language, which refers to the number of repetitions found in the project's source language and is unrelated to the translation status of a string. This information is available on the language pop-up, as shown on the screenshot here. So once you go to a resource and to a target language, you get this pop-up from where you can also enter the Transifex editor if you click on Translate. At the bottom left, you see basically the repetitions. So this, for example, resource for this language has 2 untranslated repetitions and 2 total words in terms of repetitions, in terms of source words here. It's very important to note that repetitions are updated either when a resource is created or updated, when a string is translated, or when a new target language is added to a project. This is where it triggers an update and update the numbers of repetitions. Another important point to note is that if you have translation memory fill-up enabled, once the first string gets translated, all its repetitions will be autofilled, ensuring translation consistency and obviously lower translation costs. So if you don't have a reason why to not enable translation memory fill-up, we strongly recommend to do so for the reasons we just mentioned. And there are 4 places where you can get repetition information. There are repetitions in resources progress reports, repetitions for a specific resource in every language, repetitions in languages progress reports for a specific project, and for all projects. And I would say also not to forget there is also a repeated strings filter in the Transifex editor, which returns all repeated strings along with their original instances. And I think the best thing would be to jump into our demo environment just to show you, for example, how you can download the repetitions in the resources progress report. I showed you before where you can go to a project and then into resources. If you click the three dots, you have the report options here, and it says it will download a zip file. As we saw before, one file is the resource progress reports, and the other file is a dedicated file for repetitions, and it's the only dedicated repetition file. The rest of the repetitions information are included in the other reports we just saw. So just to show you how this repetition report looks like in the resource progress reports, it looks like that. So basically you see a breakdown of the resources. You see the total repeated string and word count for the source language. And then the way we structured this is you see the untranslated repeated string and word count for the target languages. So this is how the structure of this file is. For the other repetitions reports, for a specific resource in language or per project or in all projects, these are information that are included in the previous files we saw. So for example, here is the language progress report. And if you scroll further, we see basically here the relevant columns that refer to repeated string and word count on a language level. And here is the file for the language progress report for all projects, basically. And if we scroll further, we see again the relevant information, this time for all the projects. Some key takeaways, and I believe there are some questions in the chat. Some key takeaways for the repetition reports. They allow the leverage of repeated content, as we said, optimizing translation processes by minimizing duplication of effort and cost. And repetition stats from the relevant reports help the LSP to estimate cost and completion time more efficiently. Anahi says, I use a repeated strings filter in the resource all the time. It saves a lot. Thanks for the feedback. Really, thank you for the feedback, Anahi. Rest assured that it will be shared with the whole team. If there are any further questions, let's give it a moment before we jump into the translation activity reports. And by the way, just to mention here that in the recent past, I think up until a few weeks or a month ago, we did count the repeated word count as part of the hosted words. We revamped, some of you might already know that, we revamped our pricing plans and the way we calculate hosted word count. And once you migrate, or if you're already in our new plans, rest assured that repeated word count does not count towards your hosted words. And this was feedback that we collected for many years from our customer base. So from now on, if you're on our new plans, the repeated word count, the repetitions don't count towards your hosted word count. So I believe this is a very good improvement, nice improvement, customer-centric, definitely. And again, it resulted from your feedback. So let's move on with the translation activity reports. Basically, these reports provide valuable insights into the translation process by offering information about the number of translated, edited, and reviewed words, TM leverage, post-translation, as well as the usage of translation memory and machine translation fill-ups. With this information, both the client and the LSP can efficiently track translator and reviewer activities. And this data enables the LSP to identify the most active translators, ensuring a fair compensation and recognition for their contributions. And additionally, access to these reports empower organizations to make data-driven decisions when determining appropriate compensation for translators and reviewers. As you can imagine, not every user role has the same level of permissions when it comes to accessing translation activity reports. For example, collaborators such as language coordinators, translators, and reviewers can only view their own translation activity. Team managers can only view the translation activity of the teams they manage. Project maintainers, the activity for the teams and project they maintain. And our highest role, the org admins, are basically authorized to view the whole collaborator's activities. And obviously, let's jump to our demo just to see how it looks like. So in order to go to access the translation activity reports, from our main navigation bar on the left, we click on reports. So these, and here we are in the translation activity reports area, where you can filter by a specific team, project, or language, or simply leave the default, all teams, all project, or languages. And you can filter by the desired time frame. And let's filter, for example, for the past year to see what was done here in terms of actual work. So we'll give it a few moments to load. And let me share some more information on translated, edited, and reviewed words while it's loading. First of all, the count is based on the number of words in the source string for all these metrics. So whenever you hear in Transifex talking about words, source words, translated words, edited, we always refer to source words, which I believe is an industry standard. So this is, first of all, very important to know. Now it just loaded. So the information you see here, you see the TM autofilled words for the given period and the MT autofilled words. And I can assure you these two numbers are the only numbers that are not human work related, let's say, in this view. All the rest information that you see in this table are related to human work. We just expose these numbers here for MT and TM autofilled words. Now, the view here, just to understand how to read it, we see individual collaborators, how many words they translated, edited, and reviewed. And we see the translation and edit leverage as well. Just as a definition, translated, when we say translated words, it's the number of newly translated words. So we only count the first translation of the string. Edited words are changes made to an existing translation. So it's important to note that edited words are not reviewed words. Nobody hit on the review button yet. And reviewed words are translations that were marked either as reviewed or proofread. So as you can see, we don't have a dedicated proofread column here. Both reviewed and proofread words count in the same, let's say, column in the same statistic. Just to give you an example, imagine the string hello world, which has two source words. Translator A translates this string, so this person will have two translated words. Let's say that translator B goes and edits the translation and hits on save without reviewing it. Again, nobody has reviewed anything yet, so we will have two edited words for translator B. And then if I'm a reviewer, go ahead and review the string. Reviewer A will have two reviewed words. And if a proofreader goes and proofreads the string, this person will have two reviewed words again, because we said it's the same category. Now, in terms of the string itself, two reviewed words plus two proofread words, this string will have four reviewed words. This is why I said that we count reviewed and proofread words in terms of translation activity in the same category. You can also, there's a toggle where you can display languages on and off. So if I toggle it on, it will just add another column with the language. And once you're ready with the desired view, so once you have the information here, if it's easier for you to read it and to understand the reporting from here, it's fine. But obviously you can download a CSV file with this information. You will have this, imagine a spreadsheet with the same columns. I will not download it yet. Imagine it with same columns and a breakdown of the TM ranges. So there will be a column for 85 to 89% of TM leverage, 90 to 94, and so on and so forth. So many columns, as you can imagine. There's also the option to download a monthly CSV, which will contain also a column with the relevant month if you want to retrieve translation activity on a monthly basis. And the languages progress report basically doesn't include usernames. It's just language code, year, month, and the usual information here about translated, edited, reviewed words and the respective leverages. Obviously, you can add in the translation activity report, you will download your negotiated per word rates to calculate the rate. So you can apply again, you can customize it, add columns to get the desired information and results. With that, let's jump again to our presentation, just to highlight the key takeaways for the translation activity reports. So they reveal the actual work done by collaborators. They help to fairly compensate and recognize the most active contributors. And obviously, they help making data-driven decisions to enhance localization workloads and improve the overall translation efficiency. Let's give it a few moments to see if there are any questions, and I see something in the chat. So Nahi said, the TM leverage button tells us when the person has actively chosen to use a TM suggestion. Is that right? TM leverage column. Exactly. So the TM leverage column, and allow me to switch back. I guess you're referring, Anahi, to this column here, translation leverage and edit leverage. Yes. So this is, in order to have this information, somebody needs to, a translator needs to save something. Otherwise, this information is not exposed. Otherwise, we are talking about exporting TM leverage prior to the translation process. So yeah, once they hit on save the translation, once a translation hits on save translation, there will be obviously a 100% match of the accepted, let's say, translation. But if there was another match before that, this amount, let's say this TM leverage, let's call it 85%, will be applied to this translation. So they leverage basically a translation that was around 85%. Yeah. The same goes for edit leverage. So once another translator changes the translation, we have the edited words, and the edit leverage will be basically the TM suggestion that was present at that point. I hope this clarifies the question. Thank you, Anahi. Thank you for your valuable questions. And with that, let's jump to our last reporting for today, which is the TM leverage report that you can export. So basically, TM leverage report returns translation memory leverage information about untranslated strings, as well as already translated strings where post-editing is required. And as you can understand, with this information, we can see how much translators and reviewers can rely on TM suggestions before translating and reviewing. So the TM leverage report is all about before the actual work is done, just to predict the amount of effort and cost. This information can be extracted on a project, resource, language level, and also on a tag and task level in case you're using tags and our task management feature for on your daily workflow. And that way, obviously, you can estimate the effort your translators need to put into delivering translations for the desired strings and the translation cost of the work that needs to be done based on your LSP rates. Some very common use cases for where TM leverage is required, let's say. There might be that you want to do a first pass with machine translation and then rely on the edit TM leverage for human review. So then you would download only the edit leverage report. Another use case would be that the LSP charges, for example, for translations and reviews. So you can download this report and share it with your LSP to have the cost estimation and the estimation of the effort. And another use case, I think that the most, not the most common one, but it's something that we came across. You might work with one vendor for translations and another one for reviews. So you would download the TM leverage report to share it with the first, let's say, vendor, and then you would download the edit leverage to share it with the other LSP. The TM leverage information can be found in different places. The first one, if you go to a project, you click on a resource and the target language, you will get this pop-up window that we saw also before when we discussed about repetitions. In the middle of the screen, you see the TM leverage basically for this resource, for this target language. So you see the 12 words have a 100% match, identical match, and there are 10 words that have a very low and insignificant TM match between 0 and 59%. And as we most likely all know, LSPs charge different rates depending on the TM leverage. So this is why this information is important. The second way, and I will show it to you also in our Transifex account, is by going to the reports page and then export TM leverage tab. And I would say let's do this. So we are in the reports page. By the way, I forgot to mention before that there is also a tab that says my work, and here you can see your personal contribution. So you see in how many projects you are contributing, in what role, filter with the desired time frame, and then you can see the projects and how much you have translated, edited, and reviewed, but on a personal level. And this is the export TM leverage that we are discussing right now. So as we said before, you can filter by a specific project or all projects. You can filter by specific, multiple, or all resources. The same for languages, specific, multiple, or all languages. Let's take all languages for now. And as you can see, only once you fill in these three filters, you unlock basically the option to generate the report. The other two filters are optional, only if you're using tags or you're using our task management feature, which creates a task for the selected string you're sending for a translation job. And obviously, if this is part of your workflow, obviously you can get also the TM leverage for this information. So once we filter here, we see basically at first the resources of this project and the untranslated percentage. And then we have the option to generate a CSV file. And obviously I've done it for the sake of time. I will show you how it looks like. So this is the file, this is the spreadsheet when you export the TM leverage report. So you have the project, the resources, languages, and then you see basically for these columns, E until N, you see the TM leverage before translation, and in the columns O until X, you see basically the edit leverage. So when there is, let's say the unreviewed, the TM leverage for the unreviewed strings. So this is how the report looks like. And obviously there are options to download the translation leverage report, which is basically the same without the edit columns. Or if for any reason you want to download only the edit leverage report, it will return a file that looks like that without the columns for the TM leverage. Jumping back to our presentation, the key takeaways for the TM leverage reports, as we said, they provide invaluable insights about how much work your translation reviewer, how much your translation reviewers can rely basically on TM leverage. They help the LSP to accurately estimate translator reviewer effort and cost, and they help for more efficient resource allocation, better budgeting, and cost optimization for the localization projects of yours. We're pretty much done with the reporting. The only thing pending is a recap, and obviously if there are any questions. So since we are very close to, let's say, the Q&A session, let me jump directly into the recap, and then we can invest the rest of the time for potential questions. So today we discussed about progress reports that help tracking project completion progress and ensuring timely project delivery. We discussed about repetitions and how much you can leverage repeated content to minimize duplication of effort and cost. We saw translation activity reports that actually reveal the actual work, monitoring translator and reviewer engagement for fair compensation and workflow optimization. And a few minutes ago, we saw the TM leverage report and how you can export it, estimating translator reviewer efforts and cost pre-translation, pre-review. If we could highlight somehow the overall benefits and value of reports, we could say that all the reports enhances resource allocation, budgeting, and empowers data-driven decision-making for efficient localization processes and improved productivity. And as we mentioned before, we mentioned that you can combine these reports depending on the information you want to retrieve. So, for example, in a pre-translation scenario, it would make sense to download progress reports, repetitions, and export the TM leverage to share it with your LSP. In a post-translation scenario, to understand the cost and to compensate the translators and reviewers, it would make sense to download the translation activity report. Just wanted to mention these two use cases to understand how you can combine these reports all together. And with that, we are pretty much done with what we wanted to present today. So I will jump into the Q&A session. I don't think there is anything as of now into the chat or the questions tab. So feel free to shoot away. Be happy to answer them, and if I'm not able, we can always follow up. Thank you for the question, Sanahi. Is there a way to see a visual representation of the comparison of TM leverage stats for several languages? I'm thinking of the answer, by the way, Anahi. A visual representation of the comparison of TM leverage stats for several languages. I feel that it's possible, but please, Anahi, give me some time to follow up with this. We have your email address in any case, so allow me to follow up just to be sure. And there is another question from Fred Locales. How custom can we get with reporting? How custom can we get? If you mean, Fred, if you can customize it up front and then download the relevant report, only the things that I just shared, but like defining your, configuring your desired filters, let's say, and download this selection. But if you want to add additional stuff, obviously you can download the CSV. As we saw, all reports can be downloaded in the CSV files. So then you're free, obviously, to apply, to add further columns, to apply formulas, let's say, to calculate rates based on your LSP rates. So yeah, you're free to do that. Since you can download all reports in a CSV file, obviously you can adapt accordingly and add your own stuff there. Yeah. I hope this helps to answer the questions. And again, for Anahi, so sorry that I don't have an answer for you right now, but let me follow up on this. Let's give it a few moments. I think there's something in the chat. All right. Okay, so basically the spreadsheet report is super useful, but quite hard to digest. If I could see maybe a bar chart showing TM leverage for several languages. Okay, I see. It would be super cool to be able to see that at a glance. Okay, so the only bars, in terms of bars inside that report, no. I mean, once you download the spreadsheet file, it's all about columns and rows. There is no bar chart, pies, whatever. The only place where you can see bars, if I'm not mistaken, is basically, and obviously I'm talking only about the translation activity reports. The only place where you would see bars is, if you remember here, it's loading right now, the translation leverage and the edit leverage. Only there, and if you hover over, you see basically the TM range. Let us give it a few seconds. Yeah, so the only, let's say, visualized representation with bars would be here. So for example, if you go to myself and if you hover over, we see that that I translated 6.3K words that had a TM leverage between 0 and 59%. And if you hover to the rest, I also translated 304 words with an identical match. And the same goes here for Freddie, for example, who has who utilized, let's say, also other TM leverage ranges. Only if you hover over, you see a visual representation with bars. But it's a good addition, by the way. It's a good addition, and let me bring it to our product team. If we could add this representation inside the report once you download it, I mean, the information is here, right? I think it should be pretty easy configurable to say that once you download this report, automatically you should have here a bar with the relevant TM leverage. It's actually a very good, it's a very good suggestion, and I can bring it up for sure for discussion with our product team. I just want to highlight that we haven't enhanced our reporting lately, apart from the edit leverage, which wasn't there like a year ago. But as you can imagine, throughout the last years, we gathered a lot of valuable feedback on how we can improve our reporting. And what I can share with you today is that reporting enhancements is part of our roadmap for 2024. I believe it's more likely to be worked on in Q3 and Q4. So imagine that all the feedback that we gathered from you so far, we will try to implement, quite a lot of it, if not everything. There were many useful suggestions. And I believe that reporting generally in Transifex is something that can be further improved to help you and the LSP get the desired information and actually be able to work with this information without having necessarily to apply, as who was it? I think it was Fred before who said if you can customize it, right? We want to add as many information as possible to make it easier for you, more digestible as information, and give you even more value. So that's the plan. Stay tuned for improvements within 2024. And another question by Fred Locales: are there thoughts of other reports that can be provided? Thoughts of other reports that can be provided. And Fred, feel free to elaborate. Are you referring to additional reports that we perhaps plan to implement? Or perhaps reports that are there, but I've forgotten to mention today, because, yeah, okay. So at least to my knowledge, I know we want to work on reporting. This is a confirmation we got from our product team. I know it's in our roadmap for Q3, Q4, but I think it's mostly about enhancing reporting, like including more information. I'm not 100% sure if we are planning to implement also a fifth report. We saw 4 today. I don't think we're planning to implement a new report, let's say, but obviously, if I'm mistaken, and this is in our plans, you'll be the first one to know. Rest assured, by the way, guys, that we are capturing your questions here. We add them into relevant tickets. So whenever there will be an update, we will reach out to you personally and give you this information. So thank you so much for these questions. Reports that can be added that you don't have. Exactly. I think I just answered that. Yeah, nothing that comes to my mind, at least for now, that we are going to implement an additional report. But again, if it's the case, we'll let you know for sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great questions, by the way, and really thank you for the participation and for everything. These sessions wouldn't be the same without you. So yeah, thank you for making these masterclass sessions active, that you participate and you provide your valuable feedback. Really appreciate it.
Looks like we have one more question that just came through the chat.
From Vanessa: besides empty autofilled words, can we find a more detailed analysis of empty usage in the report section? I'm afraid not, Vanessa. Thank you for the question. Valid question, obviously. But you're referring most likely to this information here, the empty autofilled words. I don't think we have reporting that can give you more information about empty autofilled words. Like a more detailed analysis. If you can share also what exactly this would look like, feel free, like what information you would like to see, feel free to share. You see there's something in the chat, perhaps, Vanessa? So you're typing empty used in the editor. Well, empty used in the editor, let me clarify here that if we are talking about running machine translation manually, this would be considered human work. Like if I'm a translator, I go into the editor and I click on the machine translation button and I save the translation. this is considered manual work. It wouldn't apply to MT, right? MT would be, the MT autofilled words is only if you have machine translation fill up enabled, which basically will run and translate all untranslated strings. And for this, for the autofilled information, we have only this. Now, if you're referring like information on how many times or for how many words the translator used machine translation, I understand this is what you're asking. I don't think there is a breakdown in our current reports as of now, like to distinguish what are the like the individual translations and what were the empty translations where the human simply clicked on translate. I don't think this is captured in the reporting as of now, but I'm pretty sure, because I remember one of my customers asking for it. I'm pretty sure this is part of our roadmap, and I hope I captured it correctly. You're welcome, Vanessa. And again, very good suggestion, this breakdown, because I understand that it's very helpful for our customer base to really know what are like native translations and what came actually from MT. And the human just simply clicked on the save translation button. So yeah, valid questions, valid feedback. The majority of them, if not all, is already captured, and hopefully also will be implemented soon. There are some filters in the resources, but it would be good to have a more thorough breakdown. That's true, yeah. That's true. There is the origin filter, for example, in the editor, but I understand at the same time that the editor is, let's say, not the best place, for statistics. So there should be a dedicated report. I'm definitely up to your suggestion, Vanessa. But yeah, there is an alternative to go into the editor and apply the filters by origin, what was MT autofilled, or what was what had the origin as TM. But yeah, again, this would be filtering. It's like very custom and a very manual way of getting this information. So yeah, this should be included in the reporting. I agree with you.
Alrighty, well, let's see. I'll go ahead and I'll start my part. And if there's any other questions, everybody, please feel free to go ahead and chime in. So I just want to start off by thanking Jacob. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. I love data, so this is very insightful for me to learn a little bit more as well. So before everybody goes about their day, please be sure to help out or check out our help center. If you guys have any questions, I'll go ahead and post it in here so it's an easier click for y'all. And then if there's anything you guys need, you can also visit our community forum. You let your voice be heard, right? Get in the action with everybody. So check that out. And, worst case scenario, if you guys have any questions that you can't find there, please feel free to reach out to support. We are here to help you guys with whatever questions you might have about Transifex. So after this session, like I said earlier, you guys will receive a recording of today's webinar along with a brief survey. We would highly, highly appreciate anybody's feedback. So if you guys can spare one moment, it's like 5 questions. It would be truly helpful for us. Your input kind of guides our future sessions and ensuring that we're aligned with your guys' needs and preferences as well. So I just want to double check, make sure we don't have any more questions here. Looks like everything has been answered. But again, if you guys think of anything after this, please feel free to send us an email. We're more than happy to answer whatever questions come up after this. But it looks like that's actually it for us for now. We'll catch you guys at our next series of masterclass sessions. So please keep a lookout in your email. We'll see you guys next season. Wishing you all a fantastic day ahead, and we look forward to cyber seeing all of you at our next series. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.